was Baby Ruth.
Oh, yes.
He wasn't due to go up, and then the one who was going to be the pilot of the plane, he was ill, so they couldn't go. So Babe Ruth said, "I'll take that one up." Didn't have to, but he should take it up. And they all went wallop. Yeah.
How did you, as fellow airmen, feel on when you lost friends and another crew?
It could happen to you. You used to sort of have a drink at the bar and good luck, son, and all that. That's it. You had to take, it was too much of it going on. I mean, Babby went all through being a prisoner of war almost. He got away with it. People in France hid them and they got them back to our lines. Then he couldn't be a bomber pilot anymore, so he had to come onto the fly boats. He was a nice bloke. Yeah. Yes, lovely days.
But you didn't have contact with him after the war?
Oh, yeah.
Oh, you did?
Oh, yeah, we used to visit one another.
Yeah.
He had a place up there, the Imber Court, the police ground, sports ground. He had a house there. And I visited him with Joy, the wife, and I'd done a little job for him because he didn't know how to do it. His chimney pot was losing the bricks, and I was in that trade sort of beforehand, and I got changed and went up there and put all the bricks back and pointed it all up, just like that. Being a mate, like being a brother, he was. He really was a nice bloke.
You spent a lot of time in the rare turrets of Sunderland's.
I did, because I don't know why, but some of the lads didn't like going in that one. They felt that they were all on their own, you know, what they do. And we had trouble with that. I'll tell you about the guns being changed.
No.
Yeah, well, what happened, when we were flying in the Bay of Biscay, they were sending the German fighters were coming out in groups of 6 to 8, and you've got to keep your eyes open because they'd be up in the clouds and they'd zoom. So what we had to do with the Sunderland, straight up in the clouds and stay there. And that was when I was with Barry. But we found, when we went to the Austin RAFA, after I'd done that shooting, they were having a pop at us because I was firing. And after I was telling Babby how near and how it was coming round like that, the shots. And I used to say, "Oh, that's all right, we're not nowhere near that, we're okay." Yet when we got back to the base, down in the bilges was a nice little shell like that, and apparently they must have forgotten to put the explosives in. And that was down in our, what's that? If that had gone off, that was good night nurse. But we were lucky.
And you had a souvenir of that, didn't you?
Yeah, I got nicked, little basket. We had the council come and do a bit of work in the house, and I had a couple of thieves stolen, and I had the little bullet or shell, and I had the police, a boxing medal and that, and whoever it was, I think it must have been the boy, it was a kid of about 12, 13 with the work with as well, and I think he nicked them. I couldn't do much about it.
But this was the shell that had...
That was the one that we found in the bilges. Yeah.
If that had gone off?
We'd have been good night nurse. Of course, it would have blown the head. It was in the middle of the plane. down in the West Ham, gone. Would have blown a big hole if nothing else. We were lucky.
And what is this about you with a machine gun out to the side door?
Oh, that's Tinkle, the little fella in there. He used to do all the guns if there was any trouble with them. And the governors decided, Barry said, look, we'll have to get a better, when we were looking for U-boats and that, he said, we'll have to get better firing power in the nose of the Sunderland, because we used to have a VGO with little, what's that, we put .5 in there, and Tinkle used to get down and fire it. Yeah.
That was the side door?
That was the front door, yeah, it's the beginning, that was.
Through
the nose.
A dangerous, no, but the side door for the gun would have been a very dangerous
Oh, that
place.
was when I nearly went out the side.
Did you fired from that door, did you?
No.
Oh.
I got the gun to do that. But what he'd done, when he put the position on, couldn't leave the gun laying on the floor, so we decided we'd move it away from the door and put it on the other side of the place so you could get it up. I mean, it's only from here to there almost. And we put it on the side, on a board, on a piece of brick. And it was actually long enough to hold both sides of the door, so you could fire it through the hole. But when we had this these 6 planes were about, I never got much of a chance to sort of fiddle about putting it in the right place. And luckily for me, at the last couple of minutes, Baby went the other way. So instead of chucking me that side of the plane where the hole was, I went back in. I lay down for about 10 minutes to get over it.
So that was a close call.
Yeah.
With the Junkers 88s.
Yeah.
That was down in the bay, was it?
Yeah, that was down the bay, because that's what they were doing. They were coming out at 6s and all those buggers.
And where were you when that happened? Were you in the back turret?
No, I'd come out of the...
Oh, you come out of there, yeah.
I'd come out of the rear turret, because I didn't use it. We knew they were up there after us. And I wanted to... Somebody went back in the turret, the rear turret to fire that gun. And I said, I'll look after the one in the side wing. And that's what nearly happened. I'd have got out there, pop flying.
Thinking of the Sunderland, how special is it to you?
Oh, lovely plane it was. Lovely. Yeah. Yes, everything was just nice. Yes, you've had plenty of room for the pilots, a couple of pilots up there. All the time, Harry Holt was always with Bavy. And it was a good plane, actually, because we had to go downstairs and I had 2 little mess where we used to go and eat our food, and I had a place there to do my cooking. I did do a lot of eating, but I'd knock up sandwiches and might for a treat give them a bit of steak, but I made sure Joyce had some too.
And where did you first, or can you remember your first flight in the Sunderland?
Oh, no.
Or your first impressions of it?
The first time I went to the Sunderland was when we went up to, I was posted into Castle Archdale, up in Ireland. And I thought that's probably where we were going to stay. But when they started to put the planes like they did in the Bay of Biscay, they brought the Sunderlands back so they could have a bit of chance against the boats.
And thinking of Castle Archdale, it was a very different place to fly from, wasn't it? It had hills around.
It was the place where you had a nice little half a mountain sort of thing on one side, and we used to get a lot of rain up there. That was the trouble. And we had a week for Victory Week, and it never rained at all the time. It was all right. As soon as that was over, down had come the pouring. Used to have the bloke used to be able to tell us the weather charts. So you go in front of him, and got all the troops sitting down there, and he starts on about the weather. Oh yes, you've got clear skies out there, this, that. You go out there, it's pouring the bloody rain on you. They never had a look out there themselves.
And then after you left Pembroke about
To go down to, that was directly from Castle straight down to Tenby. That's where we flew from.
Oh, down to Pembroke.
Yeah, they stayed down there.
But you went to Oban later, didn't you?
Yeah. Yeah, I went up there because I was stationed. I'd got my police. I'd done me 2 years or whatever it was we had to do, and I was up there, and I had to go back because of the police. But when I was up there, I was in charge of the crew, like the runners and that, because we had a sports day and we won the title. He's running along in one of the pictures, and it we took a photograph of that. Yeah, I was in charge of that. But then it was all over as far as I'm concerned then.
Thinking of Les Bavistock again, I mean, he was an excellent pilot, wasn't he?
He was great.
But how was he? Was he obviously very good with the crew?
Oh yeah, he was a charmer, absolutely. If he thought that you were doing something wrong, he'd tell you. But in actual fact, we didn't want to upset him. He was such a nice bloke. And he'd gone through the mill more than we'd ever done, because he was with Bomber Command and was shot down in Bomber Command. His pilot was killed. The pilot held the plane up so that the rest of the boys could get out with their parachutes. And so that was a nasty thing. That must have been the worst thing for him in his time. But as I say, he was a brilliant bloke.
And because you both had children, there was a close affinity, wasn't there?
Yeah.
But you didn't live, your wife and Terry were in Tenby, but you lived in the mess, did you?
I had a house. We got a house, had Mrs. Hughes in Tenby. We got the late lady had a room for us, and so Joy and I and the nib were in there. We didn't sleep down in Pembroke Dock. But then when we moved around a bit, we got different little places.
Is it something that really still sticks out in your memory of Sunderland?
Well, not really. It was always a lovely boat, and you had room to move about. You know, you get the fighter pilots and that, they got no bloody room, have they? But we had quite a lot of room. And what do you think, there's 10 there in the crew? Where are they going to go? They've got a bloody room, haven't they?
So you had, take us through it, you had what, 2 pilots?
2 pilots. And we had Harrison was the, what would you call him?
Navigator or flight engineer?
He used to plot the courses and things like that.
The observer, navigator,
Yeah. I'd had about three or four lads that did the different jobs on there, and mainly though, there was always a little bit over the top in case somebody